G'day and welcome to the Detour. I'm your host, Dan Jones. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm your host, John Dan Jones, who couldn't make it today. And I'd like to welcome my special guest, the voice of cycling, Phil Leggett, who needs no other introduction, and Vaughan McVilly, son of one of my great cycling rivals. And Vaughan is the on the board of the Metal Wheels Foundation, and he's also with the company Apex Custom Clothing, who are doing that wonderful clothing for our Detour kit, which we'll get to later in the show. But welcome on board, fellas.
It's nice, how are you?
As always. Good to see you, John. You're looking in your new promotion as host. You look absolutely fantastic.
What could go wrong?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say I'm nervous, but
well, I reckon I'm just far enough away to be out of trouble back here in the
UK. Now, just say, adjust your camera a bit, Phil. This is off camera. There's been
you're getting a bit technical, aren't you? Adjust my camera.
These are straight in. He's already
producer.
He's already got a Dan on us.
Have you seen? Look, just shut your face, right? Okay, just stop. Be quiet.
Now, that was a very stage 19 last night. Or was it 18 last night? 18 last night, 19 tonight, I think. Yeah, that's it.
No, it was 19.
Stage. Was it?
Yeah, 19 last night, 20 tonight.
Yeah,
yep.
That's right. Yeah.
2 days to go, John. 2 days left.
Yeah, we're just about there. But it's been a fascinating bike race. I really couldn't see anything but it being a normal sprint finish yesterday. But hey, all hell broke loose right from the start when the green jersey, Fabio Jakobsen, was dropped on the big climb early on and never got back. So that put action aplenty. So what were your thoughts on that one, Phil?
Well, it was as we predicted, if you remember, John. We said a big break would go and would stick, and it did just that. And, well, Magnus Cort just having a dream ride at the moment. He owed a lot to Lawson Craddock in that breakaway because Lawson just destroyed himself, so he didn't have to Magnus just had to wait until the last minute to win the sprint. I felt sorry for Oliveira because I'd like to have seen him win as well, but Magnus got it. But the big sadness of the day, well, for me, was the crash to Louis Meintjes, the South African rider, because that kid was having a great tour. You know, he's had a rough few years. He's always been a big prospect in the big grand tours. He's finished in the top 10 in the Tour de France, and he looked like he was going to make a big finish here, and he's out. 2 days to go. Really, really sad.
Yeah, he just moved into the top 10. I think he ran second to both the Yateses in the white jersey in the Tour de France. He ran second to one Yates and then the next.
That's right. He's a lovely climber, but he sort of got himself in a little bit of a mental situation, but he's come back, and that was to be his big moment tomorrow.
I thought it was a really interesting stage in that I always thought the break was going to get caught. They never got more than just over 2 minutes. It was a big break, which would never really settle well early on. Although once they split, it changed a bit. But the DSM boys, they did a power of work on the front because they wanted to close the gap because they felt that Danese could win, and he won the bunch gallop behind them. He probably could have gone close to winning that stage. So they put a lot of work in. Bike Exchange were very late helping them. I think because they had one of the young guys in the break, although they really felt it was a day for Matthews. They finally decided to put the hammer down. But just as you said before, Vaughan, Lawson Craddock was amazing, and he was the difference. He was the reason they didn't get caught. He buried himself for about 20k out, and then he did it again in the last 5 or 6k, which just stopped the peloton from closing because it was down to less than 20 seconds with about 5 or 6k to go. So it
was a great finale.
Yeah, it was an amazing. It was an amazing race because you obviously I was watching the ticker, because before it went live, and I sent you that message, Iffy, going, what in hell's going on? Because Jakobsen was out the hoop. I'm like, has he crashed? Is he he's 4 minutes down, 5 minutes down, 6 minutes down?
You dropped him. You walked him out of the bike race, mate.
I was like, look out. And I said, Maggie's going to get up tonight and he's going to be going for the green jersey. And obviously I'd already saw that he was in the breakaway. But yeah, what an amazing stage for EF. And you could just see how hard they both celebrated for the win. If you watched that, even as Lawson came across the line, he was like both hands in the air because he just, you're right, like totally and utterly buried himself. And I thought, don't want to throw stones, but yeah, I agree with you with Bike Exchange. I don't know, they came really late to the party, and in the end, they missed out again on another one. So
probably their last chance, actually.
Yeah.
So even though Dan's not on the show, he's not completely useless. He did throw the fishing rod out to his mate Jens Keukeleire, and I managed to catch up with Jens only just a few minutes ago. Or they're on the team bus. I'm not sure which way they were going, but they were on the team bus. So let's have a word with Jens and his special mate who was sitting in front of him. G'day, Jens. How are you, bud?
Yeah, good morning for me. I don't know what it is for you, but all good here. Thanks.
It's early evening. Listen, what do you got in the water there at EF? What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I think just a really good atmosphere along the boys here. We've been saying it a couple of times already. It's been a really nice last 3 weeks on and off the bike. I think there's a really good atmosphere. Even though we lost some guys along the way, the atmosphere has been good this whole time, and it's just been amazing.
Well, that's what happens in Grand Tours, of course. You normally lose a few along the way. Look, I was just talking to a mate of mine, and I said we're going to be talking to you shortly, and he said, Jens, he never stops smiling. And it's true, Jens. You were always smiling. Even the other day, I saw you were going for a King of the Mountain sprint with one of your Belgian mates with AG2R, and you were both laughing at each other. What was going on there?
Yeah, it was the intermediate sprint, and I wasn't intended to go for it, but I saw the sign like 1K to go, and I was wondering is anybody else going to try? So I go to the front really slowly, and I see Stan de Wulf. I know him really well. I've been teammates with him and did some training camps with him last month actually, and I saw him going down in the handlebar. And I said, "Oh, okay, here we go. We just go for this." It was stupid, but it was funny.
Now, I don't know where Magnus is, if he's around the back there, but we'd love to see his face because that was just the best ride. Oh, there he is. Hey. G'day, Magnus.
Yeah, I got my.
How are you, mate?
I got my headphones in, so he can't hear.
I can't hear. But just tell him from us, congratulations. That was sensational, right? Sensational, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, so that's 3 wins, but I reckon the one he didn't win was almost his best stage. That was a stage at 12. No, stage 11. Stage 11, where he just got caught.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah. But can you just say to him, I reckon he is my favourite for the World Championships in Flanders. I reckon he is the form rider, and it's a perfect course for him. What's he think?
I'll ask him. Nice.
Okay.
There's a question. They reckon you're the favorite for the Worlds. What's your answer to that?
I don't quite see it that way. I think there's a lot of strong riders that have done very well recently, and especially in Formula 1 race, I might not be the favorite.
No, you're just being modest. Well, He's being modest, yeah. Well, I mean, normally the guys who come out of the Vuelta have the best form for the world. So the other big riders, like a couple of your compatriots from Belgium, they haven't ridden the Vuelta, so it's harder to get that same form. Eh?
Yeah.
What about you, Jens?
Everybody's everybody knows what he's doing on training, and I'm pretty sure that if you do the Vuelta or not, you can be at the start of the world at 100% of your form. But it is true that the Grand Tour gives you that little bit extra. You saw it at the Olympics as well. I think that all the guys who finished in the front, they were there. They were coming from the Tour as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Now, it was a great ride by Craddock, Lawson Craddock yesterday too. He was so strong and so pivotal to that win for Magnus.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like everybody that was in the bunch, we almost couldn't believe that the group stayed up the road. We were going so hard in the bunch the whole day. And the gap was never, I think the biggest time gap they had yesterday was just a little bit over 2 minutes. But for such a long time, it was between 30 seconds and one and a half minute. And the speed was just so high the whole day. So it was unbelievable. And yeah, we heard everything through the radio, all the work that Lawson did throughout the whole day. So it was amazing to hear. And it was such a great day yesterday.
Well, your DS, Juan Galate, he is a legend. I mean, I can remember when he was riding, I don't know how many, did he ride 12 Vueltas, I think he's ridden, 12 Vueltas, 8 Giros, 8 Tours de France. But he was never off the radio. He was saying, he was go for about 50 kilometres.
Yeah, it was crazy. We said it as well, like, from 100 kilometers from the finish, it felt like it was like 10K to go because the gap wasn't that big anymore. And it felt like, okay, this is the final of the stage. But every time you looked down, it was like, it's still 80 Ks to go, 90 Ks to go. It was unbelievable. But the last month we actually had, I was fortunate to do my whole last month of racing together with Juanma. Started off great in San Sebastian. Then we also won a stage in Burgos, and then 3 stages here in the Vuelta. It's been an unbelievable month for us.
So what about today's stage? It looks a pretty tough day for the second last day. There's no easy run into the finale tomorrow. So we're just looking at the map here. So category, it's all up and down for the first 60K, but no categorized climbs. And then you're straight into Cat 3, Cat 2, Cat 1, Cat 2, and then finish on Cat 2. So it's a tough day.
Yeah, well, after yesterday, we decided we're not going to start anymore. I think our Vuelta is perfect way it is. So we're actually on the way to Madrid now. Everybody takes the flight. It's been good.
The bus has done a left-hand turn. I reckon that's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, but it's a tough day in the office. What's the weather like at the moment?
Actually, really nice. I'm happy with that. I think if we would have done this stage in bad weather or in wet conditions, it would have been a really tough day. I think it's might actually be one of the hardest days of the Vuelta so far, especially for the GC riders. It depends a little bit how they race, but for sure it's gonna be a super tough day today.
Yeah, I reckon it's a big race for that third spot on the podium because I think Roglic pretty well home and hose, and Mas looks pretty good for second. But that third between Lopez, Jack Haig, and Bernal, it's nothing much in it.
No, and I'm cheering for Jack. I was teammates with him on Orica. I always got along really well with him. So I'm cheering for him. I hope he does a good job. He was really unlucky with that crash in the Tour. I think the form he had then that he was up for a really good GC in the Tour. So I'm happy to see him here every day in the front again. And I would be so happy for him if he would make the podium.
Well, look, it's been great to have you on board again. Thanks very much for yapping with us through the Vuelta, mate. And from all your Aussie fans, we wish you good luck. And I've been talking to the powers that be in Belgium. I've told them they need you in the Belgian team for the Worlds. I think they'll sign you up just so that you can tell them about Magnus.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, mate. Ciao.
Unreal.
That was lovely.
So the bus is turning left.
It's gone. We're done. It sounds like the detour to France, mate. It's like, yeah, no, we're going home. That's it.
Good name for a movie, actually. Yeah. Now, we're talking about bike riders. Dan Martin is retiring. So there he is, riding with Israel. Been a legend of the sport. Tell us a bit about him, because he comes from great lineage, of course, Phil. So, and you know him pretty well. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, he is Irish, of course, and he claims to be Irish, but he was brought up in the UK. And his dad, Neil, was a British road racing champion and a very nice guy and a very aggressive bike rider. And I've never seen a man more proud than when his son came to the top as a pro bike rider and followed in his footsteps. He's a very unassuming character. I went on safari with Dan in South Africa, funnily enough, just after he'd won the Tour of Lombardy a few years ago. And I was showing him the rhinos, a place called Pilanesberg in South Africa. And we went on, a group of us went, and he was obviously the quiet man of the trip. He was fascinated by the information I gave him on the birds and the animals in the lodge. But you'd never know this man was ever a great bike rider, because he wore these golf shorts with all the checkers on, and he just looked a total casual guy out for a bit of a safari, really. And he never rode a bike in his life. He was a really, really nice guy. It's been obviously a big call, I think, for him to suddenly announce retirement. He's made the decision, it seems, just about now. He's been churning it over. I've got a feeling he may have had some business offers made to him, or he's got some plans, and that's why he's called it quits now. He's mid-30s. It's a time, I suppose, to go, but he's made the brave decision to go when he's still racing extremely well. He's not going down just now. And to a Giro stage winner this year as well. So he's saying goodbye at the top, and that takes a brave man. I can't do it.
No, you should. You never will. Not until they nail
me down. I'm afraid I can't do it. But as Dan said, he's not going away from the sport. He's going to stay very much involved. But he's right to consider his family and his kids, because your young life goes by very quickly, especially when you're doing something you really love. And he really loves his bike riding. That's the thing. If he didn't love what he did, he'd have been out last year, the year before that. What concerns me is, what's his dad going to do? His dad's a real brummie from Birmingham, the Black Country here in the UK. And I've met Neil in many strange situations, and all he's doing is quietly following his son. Well, on a train for one, when we came up from Avignon to France, to Paris rather, at the end of the stage of the Tour de France, I walked into Neil on board. He had all the wine stacked under the cupboard in the train. He had the whole compartment of Neil Martin's fans, and Dan Martin's fans rather, and the stories flowed, because Neil was a really good bike rider, and never really told us about his son until all of a sudden Dan was winning the big races, which his dad never even got a shot at.
But of course, the lineage and the Irish connection comes because his mother is Stephen Roach's sister. So.
Correct, correct. And Dan was my info into Stephen Roach many years ago. Yeah, and not Dan. Neil was my info. Yeah.
And also overnight, of course, Caleb Ewan took out stage 5 of the Benelux Tour with a very good win, just getting Colabrelli just before the line. He only went past him with about 15 minutes to go and beat him by nearly a length. So he was really moving. But good to see him back, because, I mean, it was a nasty crash in the Tour de France, which could have been season ending. It wasn't just a simple collarbone that you could fix. It's taken a long while for him to come back, and he's come back really
That's
strong.
his first win since June, I think. So he's now back. And Colbrelli is on top of his form, so that was a good scalp, because Colbrelli is going to go in as one of the Italian favourites to win the World Championships. They're putting a lot of eggs in that basket for Colbrelli. He's having a great year.
Yeah, well,
he came past him too in that sprint. Really, like it was. I just watched it again. That's like Caleb came off the wheel from about fourth wheel, and massive gear, and just punched it. And it was a longer sprint than I was expecting, because he, as he come up alongside Colbrelli, I thought that's the finish line there, and there's another like 10 or 15 pedal strokes, and it was a real gutsy, really strong performance by Caleb. Yeah. Really exciting to see.
On his form, I think, Vaughan, he's the fastest sprinter currently on the block in the world. But he's found his legs again. And he reminds me of Robbie McEwen every time he comes out of that pack at full speed, making up lost ground and streaks ahead of the field. He's an exciting sprinter to commentate on, I'll tell you that. So I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, and he's co-leader of the Australian team for the Worlds, along with Bling, with Michael Matthews. It'll be interesting to see. In top form, you'd say he would get around that, because he likes those short, sharp climbs like that are Tour of Flanders type things. But it'll be interesting to see if his strength is up there. But I'm looking forward to what would be a great World Championship. But the other thing in the Benelux Tour, we've got Durbo. Luke Durbridge moved into second place, only, I think, 2 seconds behind Stefan Kung, who's the leader. Although you were just pointing out to me before, Phil, it's a pretty tough finale on Sunday. What's going on there?
Yeah, it is. I hadn't realised, but I took a little more interest when I saw Luke was up there in second place. Mind you, you're looking at about 20 guys all within 30 seconds of the yellow jersey. So it could flip at any moment. But I think Luke Durbridge, for me, he's having a great season. Images of the way he rode Mont Ventoux this year in the Tour de France at the front of the bunch. I was over the moon for the guy. And I laughingly, I interviewed him and I said, "Hey, how long have you been a climber?" And he just laughed. It was just terrific. So I would like to think that he'll consolidate this runner-up spot. But the course to finish this race is 3 times at the wall, 4 times. The 4th time you finish on the top of the wall of Gerardsbergen. It's a cobbled brute, of course, the famous church on the top, and the crowds will be enormous. As the Belgians will tell you, they're very unruly crowds, because they love their cycling. So no COVID restriction will stop them, I'll tell you. They'll be there in the thousands. It's difficult for the Brits, because the Belgians see the the UK as a red country. So if we went, we'd have to quarantine. So I don't think
the Communist Party got in already, have they? I thought
it looks like we've been taken over now. We've been taken over. It's all gone wrong, all at the last minute.
The Reds under the bed.
A massive 42,000 new cases yesterday here in the UK. It seems we don't care anymore. We just get on with our life now. So, but we can't get to Belgium. That's the problem. But I think it's been.
We can't point the finger. We can't point the finger at you. It's not looking to flash here at the moment.
No, it's not. Well, the thing is, the virus is in now, and that's the way it's. We're going to have to learn to live with it. Otherwise, the countries will sink economically. They'll just sink. We have a major job problem here now. We can't get a lorry driver to drive a vehicle. They just don't exist. So all our simple things like the food shops are turning no food on the shelves. So it's
no McDonald's.
Oh, yes. Well, as I said earlier, there's always good news in COVID. Anyway, good luck to Luke. He's my man. I want to see him do well in this race. He deserves it. He's such a genuine bike rider. I'd love to see him.
Now, also, we had the stage, the Cerazit Challenge, the Vuelta, the women's Vuelta.
The woman you said, John, has taken control. Well, not quite, but she won the time trial.
She won the time trial, but only by 20 seconds from Risa, the Swiss leader. 20 seconds, and I think Keukeleire was 28. So I think the lead now is 136, but Reukers, and 139 to Van Vleuten. They'll have trouble getting there. It's a really hard stage. I loved reading the quotes from Annemiek van Vleuten. She's such a racer. She said, "I'm really looking forward to it." There she is there, up with her hand up in the air. And she said, I'm looking for. I don't like defending. I like attacking. So she said, I'm more a one-day racer than a tour rider because that defending thing, I just don't like it. I just like to go there and attack, and I'm looking forward to getting there and attacking. I'm not going to just present it to Rusa. She said, so fantastic.
Bet your life. Well, she's a brilliant. I'll never forget a World Championship win in Harrogate at the Worlds 3 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. She broke away 100 kilometres out on her own and stormed to victory. And a terrible day. Oh, the rain. The moors never looked bleaker. Sherlock Holmes had the time of his life up there. And it was fabulous, absolutely fabulous to see her win that race. And, Jerry's the best protagonist of this. But when Jerry employed her on the women's team here in Australia, I got to know her quite well. And she's an absolutely super person and soaked in talent. She's the number one bike rider of the day for sure. Even though we've got Van der Breggen and top women like Marianne Vos, yeah.
And Vorney, did you watch any of the women's challenge or the highlights of it last night?
I didn't watch the last night, but as I said the other night, I've been loving watching the women's racing, and it's interesting too. After the Olympics, just to see who's still on form, and there always seems to be a pretty tight bunch of girls right near the very top. But she's a super impressive rider, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, she is.
Now, I just wanted to have a shout out to one of a good friend of mine and a fantastic athlete in Carol Cook, who's riding in the Paralympics. She got a silver medal in the time trial, but she crashed this year. She was trying to defend her gold medal in the women's road race. She crashed badly, and she's in hospital with a punctured lung. So. Carol, I don't know if you've been watching the detour, but to all her family and all her many friends, good luck, Dale, and I hope you up and at them very soon. She's such a legend.
Absolutely.
Big shout out too, because I have a great story. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was doing some stuff with the Institute of Sport when Brad McGee was running the show there and Benny Kirstens, and we did the old Sydney to Gong, and so we got a whole heap of his team riders, and of course Carol turned up on a three-wheeler, and we did as a group, we rode down to the Gong, but anyone who's done the City to Gong, you get sort of halfway through there and you've got that big bombing descent that goes, down towards the water. And some of these young, I won't name them because they're pretty good bike riders now, but it was a few years ago. Some of these young guys were like, oh, no, we better be careful. How's she going to go downhill? What's she going to do downhill? I've never seen anything like it in my life. Like I still get goosebumps. I was riding alongside Brad McGee and she came past us. And then we looked at each other and was like, all right, it's game on here. And we try to jump on the wheel. And because it's a three-wheeler, it's obviously quite different from tipping in a road bike. She has to sort of fully, nearly like a super bike, hang her bum right off the side of the saddle and hold the inside wheel down. She went round this corner. I reckon she was doing about 85 k's an hour. And it was unbelievable. And all these young whippersnappers were just eyes wide open, jaw down. So massive shout out to you, Carol. Hope you're on the mend, love.
She loves to stir people up, and she'll see some of the bike riders will say, "Oh, what's it like riding, like a tricycle type thing?" And she'll say, "Oh, you jump on, have a ride." They're so hard to ride. It's not just like jumping on and going. They go hard to steer. And I've watched a couple of the pros jump on the bike and fall off, and she just has a giggle.
She's great.
So we're going to...
Actually, can I another quick story? Can I tell you another quick story?
Yeah.
Just because Jens Keukeleire was on, I've got a cracking story about, I think it was 2015 Paris-Roubaix. I was holding a Paris-Roubaix night, as I do most years. Huge table of corporates and stuff and beers and food and having a good time. And we're going to cross live to Matty Wilson, who was the DS in the team car. And I can't even remember who would have been up that year, who was their pick. But... Anyway, whoever it was had a puncture with about 20 Ks to go, and so it was race over. So at about 15 Ks to go, phone rings. It's Matty Wilson. I plug it into the PA. And I'm like, hey, Matty. He's like, hey, mate. Fucking, oh, excuse me. He's like swearing and stuff, carrying on. He's like, yeah, race is over for us, so we're just going to sort of follow it in and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, Kooks is actually sitting in that front group. And he's like, what? I'm like, Kooks is sitting in that front group of 5 or 6. And so next thing, he threw his phone down but didn't hang up. And so we got to listen to Matty Wilson in the team car drive all the way to the finish. I think he came 6th that year in Paris-Roubaix, Jens Keukeleire.
Yeah.
And Matty Wilson dropped more swear words than I've ever heard in my entire life, trying to obviously get through in the car. And I've got people who still come up to me to this very day. In fact, only about 4 weeks ago, this guy came up and goes, I was at that dinner where we had the guy on the phone and yeah, huge shout out. Yeah. And poor, because obviously Matty Wilson didn't even know what was going on. He was like, yeah, no, we're out. We've got no riders left. I'm like, no, there's one left, mate. He's still up there. So yeah, he's a classy rider.
Okay, we're going to throw to a break. It's drink break time, and a little word from our great sponsors at Bike Exchange, and of course our partners in the Amy Gillett Foundation. So we'll throw to that. And when we come back, we'll announce the winner of the Apex Custom Clothing Competition.
Woo!
Woo!
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike. 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Life is like a two-way street. It's about consideration and mutual respect. Roads are much the same. However you get around, walk, ride or drive, if we share our roads, we can all be safer. The Amy Gillett Foundation is Australia's peak cycling safety charity. Our mission is for safe cycling in Australia. Our vision is for 0 cyclist deaths. Over the last year, we've seen an enormous increase in people taking up cycling, whether it be for recreation, with the family, commuting, or even to start your own cycling career. We need to do more to make it safer for every cyclist. 20 cyclists every day are hospitalised, and 1 cyclist is killed every 10 days on Australian roads. So, the next time you jump on your bike or hop in your car, remember to practice the 4 C's. Be courteous, calm, considerate, and conscientious. Every cyclist death is preventable, and we all deserve to get home safely. Please donate to help the Amy Gillett Foundation make the roads safer for you and for me.
What a voice. Voice. Okay.
What a voice.
All right. Okay, so now it's time. We've, as we know, we've had a competition running. We've got people to go to the website and put the 3 favourite jerseys up, and then finally, the foundation, Amy Gillett Foundation, picked the 3 jerseys and a vote on it. It's come out now. I think Katie is about the waiting room. Casket all over and call him. We're going to get him involved. So there, go ahead. But so I think we'll whack it up here now. So the winning, we might show the 3 favourites, and then there was one of them. I love that one. Stop, please. don't get crabby. And that's the sensational one with all the, what did Dan call it, the yellow camouflage outfit. And this one was my favourite. And the final winning jersey of Kate. I was wanting to get Katie to announce it, but she hasn't jumped on. I look at my phone. Where is she? Big ringing the bell, and the winner is. Hey!
All right.
There you go. Detour team short sleeve jersey, bib shorts. Now, I'll look, and there's all the gear. You can get the full kit. You can get caps. You can get gloves. You can get long sleeve jerseys, rain jackets. What they call gillet. I've always wondered what they call it. A gillet. Gilet.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
But in this particular case, it should be called a gillet, shouldn't it? Really?
In the Amy Gillett, yes, okay.
And the game, exactly.
But
Hey, you just missed the winner, Katie.
well, we were going to get you to announce the winner, but we went and did it without you. But
Sorry.
That's all right. No, that's fine. So it's been great. So I was just telling people about all of the gear that they can buy. So whether they are going to come along to Amy's Great Ocean Road Grand Fondo or not, you're welcome to come and buy the equipment. And all the profits from the sale will go to the Amy Gillett Foundation. So how's it all going with Amy's Grand Fondo? I mean, I know there's a bit of conjecture on what's happening in Australia at the moment, but how are the entries going?
Yeah, really well, actually. We've had such a big sort of intake in the last 2 weeks. And so that's kind of really encouraging as well. And fingers crossed everything is happening in Victoria, so everyone can ride there. But next Saturday, the 11th, we'll announce something else to go along with Grand Fondo, so we can do it in the interim. So maybe I'll tell you guys first, and then you can announce it on Thursday, and we'll announce it on Saturday.
Oh, wonderful! Sounds great.
Cool.
So we're just talking about. So I've got about 8 mates of mine, the detour degenerates that we ride on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes on Saturdays. It'll be a big challenge for us, but we're going to do the 130k. So there's 2 rides at 130k's. There's the age classifications, which is really a race because that's to qualify for the World Championships. But then there's a recreational ride. It's a wonderful circuit right around the back through forest, up through the hills, and then down the Great Ocean Road. There's a 45-kilometre gravel Grand Fondo. Where does that actually go? Do you know? Put you on the spot, Katie.
You've got me stumped now. I can't actually give the specifics for the gravel because the gravel's sort of out of my little niche area. But I can send you all the
Send it to me and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But there's also they call the media Apollo Bay to Lawn, the 45 kilometres. That would be a wonderful ride, just from Apollo Bay right down the Great Ocean Road to Lawn. Just a sensational ride. That'd be a lot of fun. And then there's a 14-kilometre family ride at Lawn as well. So we've got quite a few. So you can buy your detour. So if you enter, buy your detour kit. That will entitle you for breakfast with the detour mob, and we've got a special group doing the 130k because we're going to have our own Derny rider in front on the e-bike, Dan Jones, and he's the perfect size to give us a good windbreak, so we'll be able to get tuck in right behind him. Sorry, Katie, you're just breaking up there, Dal. There we go. The gravel goes up. The back behind Lawn. Thanks, Chris. Chris Peters has just told us the gravel goes up behind Lawn. I sort of guessed that it was either that or along the beach into the water. So I don't know if you're going to go there. But sensational. Oh, you're back, Katie.
I'm back. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. So we've got a large group, and anyone who wants to enter to jump onto Amy's website, which the address is about to pop up on the screen. I'm a bit of an expert at this. I just go tap, 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 and there's the email address that comes up.
Going well.
It's going well so far. But there we go. Oh, that's the other one. That's my email address, which is good. My producer is having fun with me, but that's okay. That's okay. But you enter, and then you just once you buy any of the detour outfit that gets you into the detour group, and you join us for breakfast. So we're going to have the breakfast, and we can word up our pacer, Dan Jones. It's going to be something sensational. Yeah. What do you say, Vaughan?
I just want to do a quick shout out to my team because they worked pretty much well right across the weekend to get the store up and running. So we have like the stores all live and ready to go, so you can order stuff online. All the proceeds go to the Amy Gillett Foundation. So we've got all levels of jerseys. We've got our top level pro jersey right down to our team jerseys and bib shorts and gloves and all of those sorts of things. The design is fantastic, and my design team I need to give a huge shout out for, because they had a lot of fun turning in a lot of different entries. They came in all warps of life, I can tell you. There was photos on the backs of napkins where people had just drawn in a black pen and said, make this bit blue and make this bit red. So it's been a fantastic fun time for us as well. So we're really looking forward to encourage people to jump online and buy some of the kit. I'm looking forward to seeing it in the flesh.
It's going to be a fantastic time.
The kit's going to look amazing, though. You'll be able to stand out, and like everyone will know who you are. Those yellow nicks are bright, that's for sure. And that's exactly what we wanted.
I think we'll stand out anyway, Katie, but for all the wrong reasons. But that's another story. Well, I don't think we'll be going past too many people. There'll be a lot of people going past us. Along with Dan on the front on the e-bike,
driving.
We could keep it going a bit, but I'm looking forward to it. So it's Sunday, 24th of October. So anyone who wants to join us, would love you to be a part of the detour mob on Amy's Great Ocean Road Grand Fondo. It's a sensational day. Katie, thanks heaps. I know that you're.
I'm going to jump online. I'm jumping online and buying a set. So is my husband. He said he's to get a set, so we'll all be representing.
Yeah, no, sensational. Yeah, looking forward to it. So all my mob will be jumping on next week as well, and it's going to be great. All right, well, Katie, thanks heaps for coming on. I know that you're in transit at the moment. You've got to pull over to jump on and join us. As always, fantastic job you're doing with Amy Gillett Foundation. And there's the address, amygillett.org.au. Jump on that website and have a look what they do. It's all about cycling safety, which is what we're all about. So this is a wonderful chance to raise some funds. I've been talking with Dan. We've got a couple of other ideas we've been working on, so we'll be getting into your ear the next couple of days, Katie. All
great.
Good.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. And
thanks heaps.
Mine's looking awesome. Vaughan?
Thanks, Katie. That's so much fun. Yeah, we might have to make one or two of those little crab versions.
I just love that crab version.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Yeah. All right, it is good. It's a ripper, isn't it? That's
fantastic. Of Iffy on the front, you can't beat it.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll speak to you later.
Okay, see ya. Bye. Guys, you've been sensational as always. So, Phil, anything news from Britain? Anything updates you want to tell us about?
You choked then. That was a good start, wasn't it, John? First of all, the Great Ocean Road. Let me just, when you said that the lawn to Apollo for the, is it the family ride or was it the?
Yeah, Apollo Bay to Lawn. Apollo Bay to Lawn, yeah.
Apollo Bay to Lawn. Well, I did that ride a few years back with Phil Anderson, who had not long retired from the sport of cycling. And he never stopped talking the whole way because he just loves the area. He lived there at the time, of course, down by Apollo Bay. And always pointing out the views everything into the ocean, everything waving his arms around, almost knocking me off, and riding at the same time at quite a rate of knots. And anybody that hasn't been to the Great Ocean Road, it is not flat. It is quite hard with climbs. And so I never had a word in edgeways, and I was supposed to be the commentator. But if Phil had got paid by the word on that occasion, he would have been a multimillionaire. He was never out of breath, and he just kept on telling me all about the views, because I'd never been on the Ocean Road before in my life. And he's right, it is a beautiful road. So I really wish I was there to ride with you on this one, John. It's going to be a fabulous day out. It really is. And let's hope they raise lots of money for what is a fantastic foundation. We all knew Amy Safe. I had the pleasure of reporting on her before she was killed, and our memories have been kept going forever. I know her parents and everything else. Anyway, that's that. Now, what's happening in England? Tour of Britain's about to start. It's funny enough, I used to be the organizer of the Tour of Britain when it was known as the Milk Race, and I was the director there for 22 years. And then there was a small gap, and then the Tour of Britain came back. In between was the Kellogg's Tour, but unfortunately they thought the Kellogg's Tour was part of the Milk Race because milk and Kellogg's go together. In fact, I just had some for breakfast. And then when it all went flat in the end, the Tour of Britain was reincarnated by a company called Sweet Spot and Mick Bennett, and it's going very strong, and it's been gifted this year. It's a nice short tour. It's not hard, it's not hilly, but Britain is a very difficult area to race. But we've got some great. Wout van Aert is here. Mark Cavendish is riding. I think Dan Martin's coming. But we've got a great event, and funnily enough, on Thursday next week, I'm going up to the north of England, where I come from, of course, but a bit further, even north than that, to Cumbria, and that's about 350 kilometers from where I am here. And it just happens to be, my niece thought it was great I was going to visit her, because I haven't seen her for quite a few years at her own home near Penrith. But guess what? The Tour of Britain goes right past her front door on the stage that goes from Carlisle to Gateshead. And by coincidence, I'll be there the day before. So I'll be out on the roadside cheering on the likes of the guys. I'm also happy to see Nick Lamini, who came out of the Tour de France when he was eliminated, the South African cyclist, because he's a good friend too. But I guess they won't be stopping to talk to me because I'll be along the route. Just down the road is the highest point in Britain, is Alston. So it's quite a hilly area. Yeah, it'll be all. I'm looking forward to it very much. And I've got no work to do.
Starting down in Trevorrow country, yes.
Is it Cornwall? It is Cornwall, yes. Yeah. I tell you that, and Cumbria is a long way. I've always been surprised that the Tour of Britain has got the support it has, because it's not a place-to-place race. It's pack your bags and drive for a few hours to get to the next start, finish, pack your bags and drive for a few hours to get to the next start. Because in a matter of a couple of days, they got from Cornwall right up towards Gateshead, which is on the northeast coast of northern England, right down from the southwest coast of Cornwall. And it's done in a couple of days. But the riders seem to accept the long journeys by road, and they've always sent a great field. But the standard of organisation is very, very good. That's for sure.
Well, Mick Bennett, I raced against back in the old days, in the early 70s. He was one of the Team Pursuit team, the British Team Pursuit, who were world class.
2 bronze medals in the Olympics, and the world silver.
Should have been world champions, but they gave it away. We won't go into that one right now. But Mick,
they did give it away, but I think that was a good call. Mind you, Mick was not in agreement with that decision, I can tell you. Ian Hallam was. And those that don't know, the German team who were winning, going into the last lap, crashed. And I think they hit an official, which was the problem.
Yeah, they did. They hit an official.
And so the Brits felt that they couldn't take the title because they were going to win it anyway. And so they got the gold. And in fact, the British Pursuit team, I'm talking all rubbish now, aren't I? But the British Pursuit team were presented with the Most Sportsman Award of the Year in Germany. And they received these fabulous Longines watches, which at the time were extremely wanted pieces of machinery. And to make it even worse, Ian Hallam's got nicked out of the car.
Mick Bennett said, as much as it was very nice to get that award, he would much rather have had a rainbow jersey. But anyway,
Mick doesn't take many prisoners.
I raced a lot of. Crits in Holland and Belgium, and Kermesses against Mick, absolute legend of a guy. Okay, so we've got some exciting news about the Maldives, our Amila Maldives competition. Now, Jason Cruz, who is an Aussie who runs the wonderful resort, has been very involved in the whole Careca fundraising that we're doing, and he's been so he's upped the ante a bit more, and he's done a couple of things. He's increased it from the 5 days to 7 days. He's already increased it so you could take 2 and 2 children. But if anyone is prepared to lift the offer up to $10,000, he's prepared to make it for 4 adults. He said because the actual suites are large enough to have no problems with 4 adults. So it'll be full board, so breakfast, lunch, dinner for 4 adults for 7 days. A drinks package. He's not going to give you free champagne for the whole week. He reckons Australians are drinking out of business. But the new,
well, he's right.
This new deal is worth between $18,000 and $20,000 US. So that's about $27,000. So if someone's prepared, so at the moment it's going to be 7 days, but if you're prepared to go up to $10,000, which I reckon someone would be crazy not to. 2 families can go, 4 adults, and I've been told to adjust my script because the other one had, they were a bit. What was the wrong word in there? They didn't reeking. So here we go.
Go, mate.
Located just a 30-minute seaplane flight from Malé, Amila Maldives resort and residence sits over crystalline waters of Bali Atoll, UNESCO World Biosphere Reserve. It's one of the largest islands in the Maldives. Amila has ample space for some of the largest luxury overwater beach pool villas and residences. With leafy cycle tracks and secret beaches, Amila is sure to exceed your expectations. There you go.
That's fabulous. That's absolutely fabulous, Sean. Jason actually wrote to Trish and I last week. I didn't know about this till just now, but he said that there are other plans afoot. He's really taken this constellation to heart, and we're so happy. Very nice guy, and whoever affords to buy this, which is a giveaway price. I know it's a lot of money, but it's a giveaway price nonetheless for what you receive. And I think the trip includes the small flight to the island, doesn't it?
It does. So it includes 7 nights in an overwater pool or beach pool villa for up to 4 guests. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily. Return seaplane transfers from Malé, inclusive of some other special, seagoing activities. And Jason will look after you. It's going to be something really special.
Oh, it's going to be a whole other lifetime, and something you'll talk about for the rest of your lives for sure. So from the Maldives,
7 nights. That's amazing. That's bloody cheap. It's like just over $350 a night per person.
I know, it's
I'm
amazing.
going to be on the blower as soon as I get off there. Just ringing my mates, going, we can
that's
make
why
this work, surely.
that's why he's got a drinks package, Vaughan, so you can't drink endlessly at his expense. That's what he's worried about.
There's I've just got some emails coming through now, so I reckon there'll be probably a couple of offers in there. But look, I'm really looking forward to it.
I can't believe it.
And I just thought we might have just at times see if my fingers can get it going, but we should do a quick showing of your wonderful Phil's African safari that's coming up. Which is
it's not long before we do the first ride now.
No, I know, and I know Dan and I are going to be doing it. I think Vaughan, you're going to be doing it as well. So,
good. Nice to see you, Vaughan. You'll love it. Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's Phil Leggett here, and it's time to get my African safari on the road again. We're heading back to the Careca Game Reserve in the Eastern Cape of South Africa, where animals, including the rhino, roam freely. We did 4 great rides in June, and now, with 2 new ones, we're set to go again. There will be eminent guests to answer your questions on the wildlife and also offer an opportunity to win amazing trips to Careca. We'll chat to one another, and you don't even have to ride thanks to Fulgaz, who will set you up to watch on Zoom when you enroll and make a donation. We have 4 rides, 1 per month, starting on September 19. They last an hour, and if you have a smart trainer, you can pedal your way through the reserve or you can just sit back with a cup of tea. In either case, knowing that your participation is helping keep the animals safe and free to roam. Come and join me, and all the information you need to have is at careca.co.za/peloton, and let's go.
Yeah, and thanks to Jason, the Careca is going to be at least $10,000 richer very shortly, and that amount of money is so needed right now. There is no income for Careca at all, and with no income, we can't pay the anti-poaching teams to keep the poachers off the ground. So thanks, Jason. Come and join me. You'll enjoy the ride. You don't have to ride, by the way. You can have a cup of tea.
That's an official. Is that an official $10,000 offer from Phil Leggett? Is it? We're there already.
Well, why not? Why not? Hey, I tell you what, I'd love to go to Amia. I'd love to go there. I can't swim, but I can certainly paddle fast if I need to.
You can float around. We're going to wrap up a second. But just we're going to talk about today's stage.
Yep.
Now, that is a monster of a stage. We're nearly halfway before it gets to its first official climb, but it's 202 kilometres. But the first 60, 70, 100 kilometres, it's up and down all the way. It's just not categorised climbs. Then we go into Cat 3, Cat 2, Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 2 for a finale. So this is a real GCD day. Normally I would say I'll let the breakaway go because there's such a race going on for that third spot. I think there'll be plenty of action. But personally, I reckon there'll be two races. A break will go and we'll probably take the stage. But there will be a fantastic race going on for GC. I know Jack Haig would love to just take a few seconds back away from Lopez and get a few seconds in front of Bernal as well. So a wonderful stage coming up.
I think you're absolutely right, John. I think the first hour will be carnage to try and get another big bunch up the road. And then it'll be a charge through the back teeth there all the way to the finishing line. And I don't think the break will get caught. I think the GC will be decided now, obviously, in the time trial. I'm not so sure there'll be anybody attacking each other today. They're going to feel in pretty much like holiday mood in many of the rides. Tomorrow they'll be in Madrid for the time trial. But I think it'll be a very good race. But I think every day has been pretty active. And I'm looking forward to it. Incidentally, John, you might like to know, there's 140... I will get it right. 141 riders finished the Tour de France. 143 riders finished the Giro d'Italia. And we're currently down to 145 in the Vuelta. So that's amazing. We've got nearly the same number of finishes in all three Grand Tours. That's a little bit of rubbish info. See, I do things in my spare time.
I'll see if my producer can quickly we've got the map there for the final stage time trial. But for the first time in a long time, there it is. It's not in Madrid. It's in Santiago de
Compostela. That's the end of the 800 kilometers pilgrim way, which is when they get there. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Completely forgot about that.
There's something pretty interesting about tonight's stage too. I was going to say it again. You should get up and watch it right from the get-go because although you've got Stora and Bardet first and second in the mountains jersey, in third is Primoz Roglic and he's only 11 points behind Stora. So Stora and or Bardet need to get in the break and go and get a few more points because if it does all come back together and they don't let enough people go away in the break and it's not well managed, you could see Primoz jump over and all of a sudden take the mountains jersey. So I'm expecting DSM to be working really hard to get either Stora and Bardet in that early break to sop up those points on that Cat 3, Cat 2 and Cat 1, which are the first three climbs in the race. But yeah, you're right Iffy about that start too because it's bumpy and scary really. Like it could be an absolute really high speed because start to the stage because typically what you see in these stages is, or what I seem to notice is that you find that someone like the tour leaders they're making sure that the right breakaway goes, and if one person gets in that breakaway that's not the right person, suddenly the bunch is like bringing the speed up and it all back together and then another bunch goes. So I'm going to be interested to see that first hour.
Yep, no, I think you're spot on. I think Bardet and Stora will be both in the break. I don't really think Roglic is that interested in it, but if they don't get in the break, he might take it by accident almost. But so who's your pick, Phil, for the stage?
Oh gosh, another breakaway, Cort Nielsen. No, because No, because Keukeleire said that they're not going to take part today.
Yeah. I think they'll
I
be
can't,
there.
I can't, with that finish, I can't think of Bling. But I'd like to see Bike Exchange win a stage, I must say. But I don't think Yates, I don't know. It's a tough one to call today. It's a free-for-all, and a lot of teams still to win something out of this race as usual. And I haven't checked today, but I think there's only about 5 teams left in the race with all 8 riders too. So, and I've got nothing out of it yet. So we'll see.
I agree with the break, but what about you, Vaughnie? Who do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the break. I'm actually going to say Storer, and he can get 3 stages as well.
Yay!
But I think exactly. But I love the fact that with what's going on in that for that 3rd place as well, whether the stage win is on the chance, but that 3rd place is definitely up for grabs. So I reckon we're going to see Yatesy putting it on the line, and so I reckon we're going to see a really, really interesting sort of that last climb, because there's a few riders there that are going to be wanting to get up to 4th or get up to 3rd. I mean, no one's going to beat Primoz, but I just still think that 3rd place is still up for grabs in a way. So and Bernard looks strong.
For sure.
A late decision. I'll go for Oliveira after he got beat yesterday. I think he was disappointed.
Yeah, no.
He was very disappointed.
I'm looking forward to it. I've got a feel it'll be someone of the break. It could be someone like Storer or Bardet. They'll be right up there in the mix. I'll go for Storer. Yep. Stage number 3.
2 for Storer, 1 for Oliveira. We'll all be wrong. Never mind.
All right, look, thanks heaps. I'd just like to do a quick little shout out to Peter Bartels, who's been one of our legends in cycling. He was Australian cycling president, boss of the Sports Commission when he was boss of Foster's and Meyer, always organising a lot of funding. His lovely wife Marilyn passed away just this week after very short illness. One of the most beautiful ladies in the sport of cycling. So just condolences to the Bartels family. We're thinking of you.
Absolutely.
So tonight, great stage. Thanks for heaps for coming on. Don't forget, and I'm supposed to start with this, youtube.com/the Detour podcast. We love you to be a part of it. I'm always going crooked Dan for not mentioning this at the start. So he'll get stuck into me tomorrow. But it's been sensational. Our numbers, viewers have been up quite a bit since you, Phil and Vaughan have been on the show. So
just stop flattering. But I tell you what, I think we've moved away from being the Vuelta podcast. I think we've become just about everything now. And I think the variation in the show's been pretty good. I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
Apex Custom Oz, APEXCUSTOMAUS.com. Jump onto that website. There's all the new gear there. We'd love to get decked out in the Detour clothing. It's going to look fantastic. Look forward to seeing you down at the Amy Gillett. There, Trish in the background. Go, Trish.
And she's come to take me away.
Goodbye, all. Goodbye.